Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here, your commentator, alongside me, TK, who is going to be rounding off the season with me.
Down the inside of turn number 6.
Possible scene.
This is for the win between these two.
I'm on the edge of my seat. He needs to get it done now. Blakey will dive to the inside.
We're robust. We've got our elbows out.
Ronar takes the lead.
Because here comes Alfie Butcher.
Can't really complain with that one.
It's not going to be easy. The pressure is on, of course.
Yana Watmere is your champion.
Welcome back to PSGL. My name is Byron Hale, and welcome to round number 7. Welcome to Qatar. Is it round 7, or have I done the title incorrect? This is what I now need to figure out. Whilst I figure that out, because I may well be wrong, welcome along, Omi. Welcome back. Is the main man himself, Omi, alongside me. First and foremost, though, how are you, my friend? It's been a long week.
It has been a long week indeed. And yes, you are correct in it being round 7 of the season. So it's a 12-round calendar. So we've done the first half of the season with 6 races, and now we bring you into the second half. So it's quite interesting how the season has progressed so far, and we're looking on to try and get on with the season and finish it on a high as well. But as you mentioned, we're here at the Lusail International Circuit. We were supposed to be heading to Bahrain International, but that was a late change, which was basically announced straight after we wrapped up our show at Budapest last week as well. So we're going to be getting on with today's event, but a bit of a switch, which a lot of drivers saw coming, luckily, so they would have known that we probably wouldn't be going racing at Bahrain because the circuit, the turn number 4 issue with the curb that a lot of drivers have been having hadn't been fixed. So I think everyone had an idea that we probably wouldn't be going there, but the venue that was decided to be put in place was Qatar, and here we are then.
Yeah, I mean, interesting circuit, Qatar. Good fun and good action all round. So looking forward to this one tonight. And I'm so glad I got it right with round number 7. Who would have thought I can read a calendar? But to be fair, it's been a pretty crazy week, so forgive me. And obviously, as you mentioned, a late swap. Although, fortunately, one that the drivers were privy to. We have gone on, a little bit earlier, so we could have a bit of a pre-show. But that's been added insult to injury, I think. We would have had a pre-show either way, because I still can't quite figure out who is hosting this race, despite the fact that it's pretty much, it's 2 minutes to go, and no one's hosted.
Absolutely. So, I know E-Series and PCF1 have had a bit of a mess when it has come to who's going to host this event. But we haven't experienced it yet in F2 until now, because Liam Stevens, while he is with us, critically, because he's second place in the championship, while he is with us, he's having some network issues. So we're now just getting the phase where we find a host, we send them all of the settings, and then we get a lobby going, and then we get into 18 minutes of qualifying, which awards 1 point for pole position.
Yeah, I mean, interesting one. I think we finally have decided on a host. I think Leo Lund is hosting, I believe. I think we've got to that point. I have no idea if I have Leo added on Steam. If not, though, I can just join through Liam Stevens. But yeah, going to be an interesting one tonight. Really looking forward to this one, especially with it being such an impromptu change. It could spring a few surprises, because maybe, although these drivers have plenty of time to prepare at the best of times, are they going to be as prepared as they may normally be going into it? Maybe not. So maybe a few surprises coming as a result of that. But a thank you from Connor for everyone finally resolving their tomfoolery. And it looks like we might actually get a bit of racing going on in a few moments' time.
Yeah, we might actually be able to get in a lobby and get this underway. The event we've been waiting a whole week for, and as I've mentioned, it's been a long week as well, as we already talked you through. So it's one that we're eager for. It's one that we want to get on with. So we should be able to bring you a qualifying session in a few moments' time. And once, of course, we have all of the drivers in, once all of the settings are done, and then we'll be all set and ready for the qualifying session as well. And qualifying, a very interesting run of results for a certain driver, I think it's fair to say. And I don't think interesting even sums it up. Angelo Di Ortenzio is going for 6 poles in a row this season. The only other driver to take pole was in our season opening round, Tony Hitala, where he took the 1 point for pole there. But other than that, round 2 all the way to round 6, it has been the Angelo Di Ortenzio show over 1 lap pace.
Yeah, Angelo Di Ortenzio has been absolutely electric. There has been nothing that man has not been able to do. I genuinely think he has been one of the real standouts so far this year, especially when it comes to qualifying, but in the races as well. He has been good. He has been good, but I definitely think it's going to be one that we're going to want to keep a little bit of an eye on tonight as well. He has been incredibly strong, so we should hopefully see yet another strong performance from him tonight. Everyone getting into the lobby, though. We are getting towards that qualifying starting. So talk us through last time. Talk us through those all-important standings because, well, it's all to play for still.
It really, really is indeed. The situation at Angelo Di Ortenzio leads the championship. So, we already told you about how qualifying, that was a box ticked by him, but then a second victory of the season where he was able to convert pole to the win at Budapest. So that was one of the, of course, main talking points. Another one being Luca Rapassa, who had gone on this run of having a worse result of 5th, which is so consistent, but then it was a retirement last time out after he was leading the race. A mistake came in, he spun out of the lead, he dropped into the mid-pack, and then in retaliation, of course, angry with what has happened with that error that there was, he went on the attack, he went wheel to wheel, there was a bit of wheel banging, there was a bit of contact, and he found himself spinning round again, and then it was just a moment where he decided, right, let's come into the pit lane, let's stop things, and it will just be better to retire from this race and put all eyes on today. So he finds himself he finds himself 5th in the championship, I should say, rather. Then you find yourself with Stevens, he's only 6 points away from Di Ortenzio, he's in 2nd, then Lund and Halliday. Jan Halliday, 3 third places in a row for him, and Jan Halliday has been a driver who's been consistent around this circuit as well. He hasn't been able to get in the podium places, but he's had 4th, 5th and 6th in our previous visits around this venue in PSGL.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good, interesting one tonight, and as you mentioned, front 6 points, the gap to chase for, well, your next best driver behind. But you know, we are getting into the thick of the season now, over that halfway point, and it is getting a little bit to the point where it's not the smoothest of opportunities, and every round that we count down is one round less that the competition have got. You know, to chase that gap. And I know that sounds a bit like a Will Buxton, you know, to 20 drivers, you know, you want to be first, because that means you've got, 19 other drivers behind you. I know it sounds a bit like that, but at the end of the day, these drivers, they are going to watch the rounds as they count down, and they know that each round that goes by is one round less that they could be in that P1 spot. But it is all to play for still, for the vast majority. But Angelo is, he's got a lot to do.
He has. But what goes in his favour, Byron, is he was our winner here last time that we raced in PCF2 around the circuit. That was in season 38. Different game, but he was a contender there. And then the season prior, season 37, it was 10th as well. So he's been in the mix. That was the early part, though, when he progressed through the F3 tier. He got promoted mid-season from the F3 tier due to how much he was dominating a few seasons ago. Then he was able to get himself into F2, be a contender, and he was the winner here around the circuit. So he knows how to do it. He knows how to take pole. We've learned all of that. So it's all about just putting it together and trying to see whether we can reproduce it once again.
Yeah, and I'm sure he will be able to reproduce it, and I'm sure Angelo will be going for that 6th pole on the trot. I mean, I saw Yona Martins literally reply to the tweet for the race and literally just say 5 poles in a row. And you do wonder, with a driver who is so dominant, surely we are bound to see him at some point in PCF1. He is just that good. He is different gravy. He is really commanding out in front at the moment, and that's the key word, at the moment. It can change in a heartbeat. We see how different game cycles suit different drivers, suit different people, and different driving styles as well, the different approaches that some people take into the corner. And, just because you're fast this game doesn't mean it will translate to the next. But at least for now, Angelo de Hortensio, his stock is at an absolute high.
Absolutely. And, well, one of the reasons why I was mentioning Jan Halliday a few moments ago as well, he's shown, well, that he can do it across 2 different game cycles, where he's been able to get decent results every single season that we've raced in PCF2 around this venue. And then also, if we consider the momentum he's got on this game, with 3 P3s in a row, so 3 spots on the roster that he has had back to back to back. So if you combine all of those factors together, he is a very interesting driver to keep an eye on. And Jan Halliday, of course, our reigning champion coming into this season, trying to retain his crown basically as well, trying to get a 2nd PCF2 championship is Jan Halliday. And he's also had some good qualifying. He's been 2nd on 2 occasions when it has come to that. So if we look at all of the previous data that we have available regarding Jan Halliday, Qatar, Season 40, PCF2, if we combine all of that together, then it gives us a message that he could be one to watch, and he is a driver trying to forge his way through into the championship fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that is exactly what he is going to be doing. For some reason, my microphone is projecting in-game, and I have no idea why. I think I might not have push to talk on. So that's a me issue, which I'm now going to very quickly sort out. Before we head into qualifying, put you on the spot, Omi. Who is your pick for qualifying tonight?
Well, yeah, absolutely putting me on the spot. Well, I guess we've discussed everything about who could possibly be some drivers to keep an eye on. I think Angelo de Hortensio, winning prowess around the circuit. Also, of course, with 5 poles in a row, trying to make it 6 today. Once again, it's a situation of, if you look at everything that you have available to us, it is a safe bet. And if you have a driver who's just turning up week in, week out, getting those pole positions, it is quite a safe bet, as I mentioned, to go for the Italian man to be on pole position by the time that we get to the end of this session as well. And I'm really interested to see how long can he actually keep this streak going of pole positions as well, with how he is driving. So we're about to get our answer. We were finally able to get a lobby host after a few different hosts were trialed. Finally getting ready, getting set to have a qualifying session under the lights.
Indeed, qualifying session under the lights here in Qatar, and, well, what a circuit it is. It's a fast, it's a flowing, and it is a beautiful and brilliant circuit. I just need to tab out quickly to get rid of a menu so I can have all of the beautiful telemetry and data that we could ever possibly want or need. But 18 minutes on the clock now, 17 and a half, and drivers heading out onto the circuit to begin qualifying. Only 18 drivers here, but they are all going to be doing their absolute best to try and give us a 17 minutes of action. And Quinto, the first man out on the track, taking to an outlap. Very leisurely, though. You don't want to take too much life out of the tyres, because, boy, do those temps scream around this circuit.
Absolutely. Gabriel Quintino, who is going to be trying his absolute best to get his first result in the top 10 when it comes to qualifying this season as well. Quintino, one of our reserve drivers, So he's in that Racing Bulls car, and he's going to try to take that Racing Bulls car to a good result by the end of today, as well as the drivers continue to make their way out onto this circuit. It will be a session where the circuit will continue to improve. So you've got to be finding a step forward at all points as well, and it will be important to get a good banker lap in case later on you do go over the white lines and you get lap times invalidated. So the first lap around a venue like this can usually be very important.
Indeed, yeah, that banker lap is so important around this sort of circuit as well, because invalidations are not exactly difficult to find around this circuit. It is so fast, and you do want to push the extremities of the track to the absolute limit. DRS board taken out by Gabriel Quintino as we head down towards turn number 1. This corner is pretty relatively self-explanatory, but you've got to set it up nicely for the second corner into that left-hander. This is a flat-out right-hander, and as quick as you like, you're heading through, and you're pretty much already done with the first sector. Double right-hander, double apex. It can be quite difficult to keep it on the road through there and not invalidate, but for Gabriel Quintino, not difficult at all. Getting this banker lap time on the board and heading through this second sector. Be careful here, it's very easy to invalidate. If you step a bit too aggressive on the throttle, can throw you out wide and mean that your lap time does count for absolutely nothing, but not to be on this occasion for Gabriel Quintino. Now into that third and final sector. Fast flowing right-handers here. Difficult to keep it flat out through the entirety of this section into this final left-hander and an invalidation to suit.
Yeah, he pushed on all the way through the lap, and in the final stages, that is where it will mean that it is a trip straight back to the pit lane for him, as the rest of the drivers will come across the line and try and get some lap times on the board. First of all, it will be Sergio Sabrino, a few other drivers going on by as well. Imtiaz now goes to the top, a 1 minute 20.077. Fan Zelta is in P3. Cameron Dowd slotting in with a 1 minute 20.531 as well, so some decent banker laps coming in there for Imtiaz, who's found himself right now at the front of the field. Angelo Di Hortensio also pushing on at the moment. Our championship leader, he's just begun his flying lap, so he's tackling turn number 1. A few others are about to round out their laps around the circuit. 13 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock to go.
Indeed, yeah, Gabor Contos there coming across the line. He's invalidated on his lap. Quite a few drivers have invalidated on their lap times, but Jan Halliday is one who hasn't yet. He's coming around the final bend now, providing this is all clean. It will be his first lap time on the board as Larry comes across the line. He'll go up to the top of the timesheets, and now Jan Halliday across the line. He will go into the 1 minute 19s. First driver to go into the 1:19s so far in this qualifying session, and I'm sure he will be very happy with that. Next across the line, Leo Lund. He wasn't in a valid lap either. A lot of drivers struggling to get a valid lap time on the board at this early stage. Conrad Bohm, though, he will get a valid lap time on the board. Goes 6th for now, but plenty of time left in this session, as now most drivers will peel off into the pit lane. First runs pretty much done and dusted.
Absolutely, that is the first runs done for plenty of drivers, but you're about to see more lap times come on, like that one from Rapazza trying to bounce back after what happened last time out. And look, he's just gone to the top. It's the driver trying to make it 6 poles in a row. Angelo Di Hortensio back at it once again, and considering what we were talking about in the pre-show, is now Benzoni finds himself getting in with exactly the same time. Exactly the same time as his teammate. The Ferraris, who are so close together at Imola, now also close together to the exact second and 1000th here in Qatar.
Wow, that is pretty impressive. I was interested. I saw Riccardo Benzoni, fastest lap, looked at the timing tower and saw that he was second. I was a bit confused and then realised, dead on, the target was his teammate. He matched his teammate. That's pretty impressive. And, well, not to scoff at at all. And, well, clearly, Angelo Di Hortensio, Riccardo Benzoni, definitely prime for the picking for pole position as things stand. but, well, we still have 11 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. So much time for things to change, but you've got to say, these two drivers matching their lap times, you've got to say they are definitely the two biggest contenders so far early doors.
Yeah, and Zoni, the driver who managed to get a P4 in our last visit around the circuit in PCF2, so has had some good form, and we've tried to build upon that. Of course, that was on F124. We're now on F125. We mentioned how the game cycles can switch things around, but so far from everything that we were going on about in the pre-show, it has been matched, and you still have those same consistent names who have prowessed around this circuit as well. Back up there once again, Szymon Lukumski in 4th. You have Tulki in 5th. Laurie Tulki will be happy with that one. He's the driver who sits 13th in our points battle at the moment. Repassa with 6th. Imtiaz is in 7th, and then it's Brino, Conrad Bohm, and Diego Zorzo, a driver who's missed so many races this season. Has only been with us on 2 occasions so far, so it's his 3rd visit in season 40. So he's got a lap time that right now is good enough for P10. But if we look at the bottom of screen, we've still got some more drivers who need to get a lap time on the board, and one of them is Quintino as he comes across the line. P10 is right now the answer to that. So it's Lund, Kushontos, and Joe Murphy, one of our reserve drivers, who are still yet to go out there and push on. Imtiaz and Sabrino, the driver 7th and 8th, they're on their out lap at the moment.
Yes, indeed. And Sergio Sabrino and Race are both very good drivers, so we can expect to see probably an improvement from the pair of them, providing everything goes smoothly on this second lap. Sergio Sabrino coming across the line and beginning his second attack lap in this qualifying session, heading down towards turn number 1 and braking as late as you dare towards turn number 1, cutting as much as you can, trying to carry as much speed through here and really trying to lift off as much as possible. Nice full throttle through there, car very much under control and swinging it through the double apex right-hander, trying to not scrub off as much speed as you can, carry as much through the corner and hitting the apex very nicely as we head through the next sequence of corners and in towards this sector 2. Very tricky right-hander, a lot of hairpins around this circuit. The tyres will be absolutely screaming as you barrel it through this sequence of corners. This fast left-hander just missing the apex ever so slightly, running a bit wide, and that's it, unfortunately, undone for Sergio Sabrino as he invalidates there. And meaning that the next man who will come across the line will be Race Imtiaz, who is just coming towards the end of sector number 1.
Yes, indeed. He was one of the drivers who we mentioned who had set off on an outlap. That applies to a lot of the other drivers. Imtiaz through the first sector, exactly the same first sector that he managed last time about. So it means if he wants to find an improvement this time by, it will need to be a mega second and third sector. Remember, this circuit will be taking a step forward. The drivers need to be following suit as well if they don't want to drop down the timing board. 8 minutes to go. Ferrari front row at the moment. Imtiaz there, out slightly wide, and it means lap time gone. So another driver who was pushing on can say goodbye to the lap. So it's Sabrino who came back to the pit. Imtiaz, if he's not got any more fuel, he'll also come back in, and it will be over to some of the other contenders who will be looking to try and push on, including Fan Zelta, who's making his way through. He's up by a 10th in the first sector.
Indeed, yeah, he is looking quite strong in that first sector. Good sector time to kickstart his second flying lap, and you see him coming through sector number 2. This tricky sequence of corners, which has already caught a few drivers out here, especially on the exit of this corner here. That's where we saw Sergio Sabrino, sorry, invalidate just a few moments ago, but 3 attempts up there through the sector 2 split, and he is looking very, very good, and he got good pace in his tank at the moment as he'll come through the final couple of bends. Very careful to keep it within those track limits, keep it nice and conservative. He's got a good improvement banked here that could see him towards the top of the order as he comes across the line. Where will it be? Only 8th for Florian van Zelter, but it is not a bad lap time at all. Plenty more pace in the tank, though, I am sure, but keeping his cards close to his chest as both of the Ferraris take to the track once more.
Murphy, what is he going to do? It is going to be 14th at the moment. He'll just be happy that he got something out there on our timing board. Kashontos will be trying to aim for the same. Can he get into the top 10? He can get into the top 5. Nice stuff there for Gabo Kashontos as he moves up to 4th. Now 5th because his teammate Larry Tulke goes to provisional pole at the moment. So Tulke found the time when required, and it means the Ferraris will be forced to find an improvement.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. Big improvements going to be needed there. Jan Halliday about to come across the line. He's got a bit of an improvement. He will go to the top of the timesheets. A 1:19.768. That's a huge lap for Jan Halliday. A very welcome improvement, I'm sure. But Riccardo Benzoni, he's not improving on this lap time, at least based off his Sector 2 split. So he might not be about to improve. He doesn't improve. What about Angelo D'Ortenzio? A 10th up there. Goes up to 2nd, but cannot beat Jan Halliday, crucially. That's an important lap for Jan Halliday. He will be very happy with that performance. He knows what that will mean in terms of his qualifying chances of being on that pole position. It is all to play for with 5.5 minutes on the clock. But you've got to say, now the advantage has definitely swung in Halliday's favour.
Definitely has. It looked like it was going to be advantage Ferrari. Now it is Halliday. Benzoni remained in 5th, so he dropped down the order, but he was not able to go any quicker as well. So an interesting set, an interesting run of lap times coming in there. So it is changed up our order at the front of the field. It means that we get Halliday, who is in the 1:19.7s, along with D'Ortenzio, and then Larry Tulke. He'll be absolutely satisfied with that one. Will Larry Tulke, a contender for the F3 title a few seasons ago as well, was beaten to the crown by Imtiaz that season in season 38. And he's, of course, finding himself with a 2nd season now in this tier. Sergio Sabrina also looking to push on at the moment. He is in the 3rd sector, full attack as he tries to keep it within the white lines. Will then take a wide line out of the final corner. It will be fit to the floor, and then it will be all eyes to our timing board to see whether Sergio Sabrina can get an improvement. And an improvement is coming his way. The same lap time. With the same lap time that Alves set, a 1:20.009, but of course Alves set it first, so he gets the advantage, so he's in 10th. Sabrino with 11th at the moment as everyone comes into the pit lane and now prepares for what will be the final run, Byron, to decide our pole sitter.
Indeed, yeah, one final attack, and I think Jan Halliday is going to be feeling quite happy in the situation he's in because, well, if you're Jan Halliday, you know that you could pretty much foot to the floor it on this final run, take a few more risks than you may ordinarily do because, well, at the end of the day, he knows that he is got a good lap time on the board that is unlikely that the 17 other drivers are all going to beat. Not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but it is very unlikely that anyone is going to be able to quite manage to beat that lap time, especially when you look at further down. I think commiserations have to be said for Cameron Dowds. He's really been struggling so far today. He's 8/10 off of Jan Halliday's time. A bit of a no man's land, I think, for the Kick-Sauer man at the moment.
Absolutely, and he's going to be definitely searching for ways of improvement. I've of course mentioned across this entire season his arrival into F3 and his arrival back into PC after having a stint on console as well, and how impressive he was, where he'd only done half the races but found himself as a title contender alongside Tudor Presican, who still races in that F3 level as well. Talking about F3, our pole lap there was a 1:19.863. Right now at the moment we've only had 2 drivers in this qualifying session that have been able to beat that. I'm sure that list will definitely extend with the circuit at its best and all of these drivers let loose as they try and grab the 1 point available for pole position.
Indeed, yeah, 1 point on the line, and, well, that 1 point could be so important in the grand scheme of things. Doesn't seem it now, but when you think of what is still to come. It could make or break your championship chances. But for race Imtiaz, it is going to be a qualifying lap of hopeful dreams, because he needs a really solid improvement here as he begins his final run in this qualifying session. He's got 1 minute and 40 seconds on the clock. If everything goes to pot on this lap, he will be able to back off and go again, but the tyres won't be in their best, so he won't want to do that if he can, although it does appear he's backed off on this occasion because I think he knew he was going to get caught in traffic.
Yeah, better to just leave it all the way till the last second. So a double lap situation at the moment for him. It means now that it will be over to Conrad Bone, who is going to look to try push on. The driver currently in P12 at the moment in the McLaren, and he has had a best qualifying result of 8th. That was the only time that he found himself in the top 10 when it has come to F2 qualifying so far this season. He's right now 2 places away from getting inside set top 10, but he's up by a 10.5. This is the moment where you've got to improve. This is the moment where you could be left vulnerable to all of those drivers who will be improving behind. It will need to be a lap time that remains clean for the rest of the lap within the white lines for Conrad Bone.
Indeed, yeah, it could be a really solid lap for Conrad Bohm here. He's making a huge improvement out of this lap, and I'm sure that is going to be something he is incredibly happy to see, as, yeah, improving by a huge, nearly 3 tenths of a second there, and a purple sector 2 to suit, according to my telemetry. So this is a very good lap time for Conrad Bohm that could get him comfortably into the top 10. And could equal, if not better, his best qualifying, as you said, in F2 of 8th. A little bit hairy on the exit of the final bend, but up to the line as the checker flag falls. Up to 3rd for Conrad Bohm. That is a good lap time, and one that he will be very happy to see. Next to come across the line, though, is going to be the Mercedes of Florian van Zelter. He can't improve, and unfortunately, that is his qualifying over. Next, Cameron Dowds. He's not had a good lap time. It's still 18th.
It is indeed at the moment. Liam Stevens is in 7th. Conrad Bone, that was a great lap, and you'll be delighted with that one. In terms of your battle for pole position, Angelo Diotentia is up, but only by hundredths of a second. Jan Halliday has come across the line, no improvement for him. He's going to maintain on pole position at the moment, but it's going to be over to Angelo Diotensio, trying to deny him. The Ferrari man, who's been on pole position 5 times so far this season, has been displaced by Alves. Angelo Diotensio across the line has got there again. 6 poles in a row, possibly, on the line for Diotensio, unless someone can beat him. Diotensio, Halliday, Alves, his teammate Benzoni's gone up into 4th position. Bohm with 5th at the moment, but Diotensio somehow might be able to get there once more. Sabrino just set a lap time for 8th. Unbelievable stuff. Diotensio on top once again. How can someone beat him this season?
Well, good question. How can somebody beat him in a qualifying session? That is a driver who has just delivered every time of asking. Angelo Diotensio on pole once again. Jan Halliday, though, will line up alongside, followed by Nelson Alves, Riccardo Benzoni, Conrad Bohm, Larry Tolke, Luca Rapassa, Sergio Sabrino, Liam Stevens, and Leo Lund rounding out the top 10. Diego Zorzo, Race, Quinto, Gabor, Kontos, Simon Komsky, Florian, Joe Murphy, and Cameron Dowes last on the grid, but absolutely has to be said and really praised. The Conrad Bohm, such a great result for him. He really put in a solid.
You'll be delighted with that one. I mean, when he was on the best of P8, and then he comes across the line. The lap looked good. The timing board reflected it. That was remarkable stuff to originally go to 3rd and then be displaced. So that was absolutely remarkable to see that lap time come in for a driver who will be very confident then heading into this race. I am sure it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun, but qualifying very important with how it is on this game where the slipstream isn't as strong, the dirty air is high, so it can mean that you get stuck sometimes in trains. So qualifying was important. You are going to see plenty of moves. You are going to see plenty of overtakes, but there will be there will be moments of brinkmanship, I'm sure, between the drivers when you do get those, because every overtake means a lot more compared to other games. Every track position that you can get, very much more important as well.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely, and especially around a circuit like Qatar, there's not a huge amount of places you can really make a move, and as we have discussed at length, Omi, it's more difficult to overtake on this game at the best of times, but let's take 5 red lights here in Qatar, and it is lights out, and away we go. Angelo D'Ortenzio leads us off the line, and it is a healthy start for the poleman, who leads us away into turn number 1. Look at Nelson Alves trying to battle here with Jan Halliday, trying to take it down the inside. He can't manage it on that occasion. Conrad Bohm trying to battle here with Larry Tolkien and Luca Rapassa, but lap 1 underway so far. Yellow flag in the background, that's Joe Murphy, our reserve driver, struggling, and there's a bit of a kerfuffle at the back, and that is Leo Lund, who I believe was involved in that. Many drivers ran wide there. I believe that was at turn number 4, as Florian van Zelter, Diego Zorzo, Joe Murphy, Leo Lund all seem to have had a bit of an off on this opening lap of action, but Angelo D'Ortenzio leads us out in front for the time being.
Wow, what a dramatic start. Definitely one of our more chaotic opening laps of the season. Joe Murphy's on the hard compound of tyres. He found himself with issues earlier on. Leo Lund was involved at turn number 6. Red Bull cars. Zorzo's dropped, and Zorzo all the way down 6th. That start himself. Opening lap. The top 5 as they were, though, as they left the line. Rapassa looking very good. He's moved up in place from his grid spot, and he's looking to try gain another position because he's right on the back of Conrad Bohm. Can he use that to possibly go for a move to the inside? He's thinking about it, getting the squeeze, dive bombing and taking the place. That is Rapassa up to 5th. Zorzo, meanwhile, he retires from the race on the opening tour. Only his 3rd race with us this season, and unfortunately it does not go past lap number 1.
Yes, indeed. Difficult opening lap, I think, for Conrad Bohm, but still in a decent place in this race. He'll be happy with that. Apologies for the bit of lag. Yeah, my Wi-Fi just decided to have a little bit of a moment, but see how that sorts itself out. But Angelo D'Ortenzio out in front for the time being. Jan Halliday in 2nd, followed by Nelson Alves, Riccardo Benzoni and Luca Rapassa in 5th now, as well, they all come across the line. Luca Rapassa setting that fastest lap, to be expected as he made a move on that last lap, but Florian van Zelter as well, good lap time from him, as the field begins to already spread a little bit, as Cameron Dowds has found himself with a bit of a mountain to climb between himself and Simon Lekomsky.
Indeed, that is what is taking place on circuit at the moment. Leo Lund, the driver who is 3rd in our championship standings, he is in the pit lane, going on to a set of the hard compound of Tika, is the Red Bull man at the moment, so he'll rejoin the road. Another driver who came in was Imtiaz. He's gone for a set of the mediums, and he's just gone by on Lund as he exits the pit lane. But Halliday and D'Ortenzio, realistically 2 of your main contenders when it comes to this race as well. But if there is strategy that can be overturned, if there is any bit of drama, then who knows, it could definitely open the door. Of course, we had a safety car earlier on this season at Silverstone, the safety car not appearing on any other occasions so far. Rapassa looking like a driver with a bit of confidence, following closely to the middle sector, then having to just tuck back in as we arrive to towards the end of the 3rd lap, onto lap number 4.
And Angelo D'Ortenzio, half a tenth between himself and Jan Halliday, as that rear-wing opens nice and wide for Jan Halliday, and he'll get nice and close to the back of the Ferrari man, but not really going to put up a contest here. But yeah, absolutely, Jan Halliday trying to apply the pressure to Angelo D'Ortenzio. For some reason, though, my Wi-Fi really is not liking Qatar. It is really struggling to do things to try and help, but at the moment, it's all quiet on the Western Front as Jan Halliday sits behind for the time being.
Yeah, luckily it's the early stages where we expect them all to tuck in. Tricky, very vital across this championship so far. A championship that is led by race leader Angelo Di Ortenzio. Perhaps we mentioned last lap. It was looking at Benzo to try get on the podium today. Benzoni, who's missed a few races so far this season, has the best result of P6. That was on 2 occasions, coming under a bit of threat, having to look in the mirrors, not all comfortable at the moment. Rapasa, though, will be wanting back after having no retirement last time out. He'll know that he wants to get on with it, and you can see with his drive in the laps that he is a driver who will go for any opportunity that comes his way today.
Yes, I'm hoping things are going to be a little bit better now.
Well, Leo Lund, first season for him, and a big go to his championship, finds himself 30 points away coming in, so then it will definitely go a long way in deciding this championship. All of these points adding up as well, and the one we got had a penalty. Leo Lund, who had a very consistent start to his campaign, finally took the win at Imola in round 4, and then once he built up that gap, he's only gone downhill, and he's now going to have a gap to basically close in on across the final stage of the season. We've had 6 races, this is round number 7, we are into our second half of the campaign. We've got 12 races in total to Texas, some out, then over to Suzuka, Vegas, Brazil. That will be our penultimate the season. We'll conclude season 14 at Mexico City as well, where we'll hope our championship battle goes all the way downhill, and see our champion to go though in round 7, Qatar. As we mentioned, Yanni just looking to try things along Potentia at the front. Halliday will know the strategy will be very important. It's very hard to overtake out there on the circuit, as you can see so far. It means the drivers are pushing on and getting penalty. There is Gabriel, one of the drivers for today's race.
Indeed, yeah. The issues don't seem